Arctic air is heading south. Two winter storm systems are developing. The jet stream is making a dramatic shift. This pattern will affect every region differently, and I am going to walk through what that means for your specific area. This video runs 17 minutes. We'll start with the big picture pattern, then break down each storm system, and finally go region by region with specific impacts and timing. If you are replanning travel this week, pay close attention to the Wednesday and Friday time frames. Right now, Saturday morning, a storm system is moving through the southeast. Mississippi saw a tornado early this morning near Laurel. Georgia and Alabama dealing with some thunderstorm activity. Northern Florida has severe weather potential through midday. This system exits the coast by tonight. That sets the stage for everything that follows. The current weather pattern has been all over the place. South Carolina has seen near-record warmth this week. The eastern plains of Colorado woke up to 17 degrees with wind chills near 5. That contrast tells you everything. No consistent pattern. Temperature swings every few days. That's about to change. The jet stream is going to lock into a different configuration. Instead of meandering east to west with no real direction, it's going to dig south out of Canada and stay there. When that happens, you get persistent cold. You get storm systems that tap into both Arctic air and Gulf moisture. You get winter weather in places that haven't seen it in years. Let me show you how this unfolds. Sunday into Monday, the first shot of cold air arrives. Not the main Arctic blast, just a preview. The Midwest and Ohio Valley will feel temperatures drop. Nothing severe yet, but it's enough to set the stage for Wednesday's storm. By Tuesday, high pressure builds over the West Coast. California, Oregon, Washington, you finally get a break. After weeks of atmospheric rivers, flooding, mudslides, the pattern shifts. Dry conditions take over. This high pressure is actually important because it helps steer everything else. It blocks storms from moving west and forces them to track south and east instead. Tuesday night into Wednesday, the first winter storm develops. This one we have high confidence in. The models agree. A low-pressure system forms over the Central Plains, strengthens as it moves into the Great Lakes. Wisconsin, you read right in the bullseye for this one. South central Wisconsin has been dealing with rain today. By Wednesday, that changes to snow, heavy snow, 6 to 10 inches across the southern half of the state. Milwaukee could see 8 to 12 inches. This falls during the day Wednesday, continuing into Wednesday night. Michigan gets hit hard too. Lower Michigan, 8 to 15 inches. Heaviest bands set up from Grand Rapids through Lansing to Detroit. Travel on Interstate 94 will be difficult Wednesday afternoon and evening. Northern Illinois, including the Chicago area, 6 to 12 inches. The Packers aren't playing in Chicago this week, but if they were, it would be a snow game. For those in northern Iowa, this storm clips you. Northern central Iowa sees 4 to 8 inches. Not the heaviest, but enough to create slick roads Wednesday night. The storm tracks into the Ohio Valley Wednesday night. Parts of Ohio that have been warm lately, temperatures in the 50s, you are going to see snow. Northern Ohio, 6 to 10 inches. Columbus area, 3 to 6 inches. Southern Ohio, rain changing to snow with lighter accumulations. Interior Northeast gets snow Wednesday night into Thursday morning. Central Pennsylvania, this is what you've been waiting for. 6 to 12 inches likely. Harrisburg State College area, good snowfall. This is a classic lake effect enhancement setup as the system moves through. Western New York, Buffalo, Syracuse area, 8 to 15 inches. Lake effect adds to the system's snow. Thursday morning could be messy for the commute. Now, while that first storm is happening, something else develops. A second, potentially stronger Arctic blast pushes south Thursday. This one is more significant. The cold air dives all the way to the Gulf Coast. When you get air that cold meeting moisture from the Gulf, interesting things happen. Thursday into Friday, a second low-pressure system develops along the temperature boundary. This is where the forecast gets tricky. The models still show some disagreement on the exact track, but let me walk you through the scenarios. If the low tracks through Tennessee and Kentucky, you are looking at snow much further south than normal. Northern Alabama could see accumulating snow. Northern Mississippi, all of Tennessee. This would be significant because these areas have the infrastructure to handle it. 2 inches in Nashville creates more problems than 12 inches in Buffalo, Kentucky, particularly the northern parts around Lexington and Louisville. This is your highest risk period. Third week of January historically brings your worst winter storms. This fits that pattern. If this scenario plays out, 4 to 8 inches possible. South Central Kentucky gets less, maybe 1 to 3 inches. For Tennessee, I know you feel like you never get covered in these forecasts. Let me be specific. If the storm tracks through your state Thursday night, Memphis sees rain. Nashville could see 4 to 6 inches of snow. Knoxville in the eastern mountains, 6 to 10 inches. Chattanooga sits right on the rain-snow line. Could go either way. Western North Carolina, you've been getting hammered with rain. Asheville area, the mountains, this storm could bring 6 to 12 inches of snow Thursday night into Friday. Much better than more rain. If the storm tracks further north, through Ohio and Pennsylvania instead, then the heaviest snow shifts. Southern Ohio, 8 to 15 inches. West Virginia gets buried, 12 to 20 inches in the higher elevations. Western Maryland could see 10 to 18 inches. You mentioned you can T-dodge major snowstorms the last 2 years. This continues that trend. Northern Virginia is right on the borderline. If the storm goes south, you get heavy snow, 6 to 12 inches, Richmond area included. You've been in drought conditions since last summer. Snow helps, though you do prefer rain. Either way, moisture is coming. By Friday, this storm likely intensifies as it moves up the coast. This is where a nor'easter develops. Rhode Island, you said it's been years since you had a good storm. Friday into Saturday could be your chance. If everything lines up right, Providence area could see 12 to 20 inches. This would be a legitimate nor'easter. Coastal flooding possible with onshore winds. Connecticut is in a similar boat. Hartford, New Haven area, 10 to 18 inches possible if the coastal low develops. Maine, you are hoping this develops and hammers you with snow. The northern and western parts of the state could see 15 to 25 inches. Portland area, 12 to 20 inches. This would be Friday night into Saturday morning. Massachusetts sits right in the heaviest snow zone if this tracks correctly. Boston area could see 12 to 20 inches. This is the type of storm that shuts things down for a day or two. Central New Jersey, you asked about snow chances. This storm gives you your best shot. 6 to 12 inches likely if the coastal low forms. Not a white Christmas since that already passed, but significant January snow. Now let me address some specific areas that need attention. For the Gulf Coast, from Texas-Louisiana border through the Florida Panhandle, this is your coldest air of the winter. Wednesday night through Saturday morning, temperatures drop into the mid-20s. Some areas could hit low 20s. The weird humid pattern you've been experiencing, that hot-cold whiplash, ends with this Arctic blast. Protect pipes, protect plants. This is a hard freeze. Northeast Florida, you've enjoyed perfect weather for 10 days. That changes Thursday. Temperatures drop from the 70s into the 40s. Still pleasant compared to the rest of the country, but noticeably colder. For the Great Plains and Midwest that have found this winter boring, this wakes things up. Kansas City Metro has been sitting in the 50s and 60s. By Thursday, you were in the 20s. By Friday morning, single digits. That is a 40-degree temperature drop in 36 hours. St. Peters, Missouri. You said Missouri has been the most boring winter weather state this year. Wednesday's storm gives you some snow, 3 to 6 inches likely. Not huge, but better than nothing. The cold air following it is more significant. Teens and single digits Friday and Saturday morning. Southwest Missouri, you asked about the big 12-plus-inch snowfall. This setup doesn't look like it for your area. You'll get the cold, but the heaviest snow stays north and east. Maybe next time. Eastern Arkansas, Central Arkansas, you mentioned temperature roller coasters making you dizzy. This pattern continues that. Near 60 today, mid-30s by Thursday, low 20s Friday morning. If you want to hibernate for a couple months, this week makes a good case for it. Eastern Tennessee finally got rain yesterday. More rain likely Sunday and Monday. Then as the cold air arrives, some of that could change to snow Tuesday night, especially in the higher elevations. For those on the eastern plains of Colorado, you are already cold. 17 degrees this morning with brutal wind chills. You stay cold all week. Single digits likely Wednesday through Friday. Wind chills could hit 20 below zero at times. The snow from these systems mostly misses you staying further east. Nebraska, specifically the Hastings area, you missed yesterday as snow and nothing is forecast for the next week. You mentioned needing moisture but not missing snow and ice. Unfortunately, this pattern doesn't help you much. The storm tracks stay east. You get the cold but stay dry. Arizona in the southwest, I haven't forgotten you. High pressure dominates your region all week. Dry conditions, temperatures near normal. Phoenix area stays in the 60s. Flagstaff and higher elevations stay cool, but no major weather systems affect you. Let me talk about timing more specifically because this matters for planning. Sunday, current storm exits. Brief break. Temperatures begin dropping in the Midwest and northern areas. Monday, continued cooling. Nothing dramatic. Good day to prepare supplies. Check your snow removal equipment. Stock up on essentials. Tuesday, cold air settles into the northern plains and upper Midwest. Snow begins Tuesday evening in Wisconsin and Michigan. Gets heavy overnight. Wednesday, first winter storm peaks. Morning through afternoon, heavy snow Wisconsin, Michigan, northern Illinois, northern Indiana. By afternoon and evening, the snow spreads into Ohio, Pennsylvania, western New York. This is the worst travel day of the week for the Great Lakes and Midwest. Interstate 90, Interstate 80, Interstate 94, all significantly impacted. Thursday, Wednesday's storm exits. Brief lull in the morning. Arctic air plunges south during the day. By evening, second storm begins developing. Snow starts in Tennessee, Kentucky, southern Ohio, or thereabouts depending on track. This is when the temperature really crashes along the Gulf Coast. Friday, second storm intensifies and moves up the coast. Heavy snow somewhere. We're just not certain exactly where yet. Either the Tennessee Valley gets hammered, or the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast get hammered, or possibly both in sequence. This is the day to watch closely. Saturday. Storm exits off the New England coast. Brutal cold remains. Wind chills below zero across much of the eastern two-thirds of the country. Single digits as far south as northern Mississippi and Alabama. Now for practical considerations, and I want to be specific here. If you deal with migraines or sinus issues triggered by pressure changes, this week is going to be rough. Wednesday and Friday show the two biggest pressure drops. The rapid intensification of both storm systems means fast pressure falls. Have medication ready. Don T, wait for symptoms to start. For truck drivers working routes east of the Mississippi, Wednesday and Friday are your problem days. Wednesday affects the northern routes. Interstate 90, Interstate 80 corridor, Great Lakes region. Friday affects either the southern routes through Tennessee or the coastal routes up Interstate 95. Monitor which track that storm takes and adjust your schedule. If you work outdoors, particularly in the northern plains and Midwest, Friday and Saturday mornings are dangerous. Wind chills in the 20 below to 30 below range. Frostbite happens fast. Limit exposure. Dress in layers. For livestock and outdoor animals, the rapid temperature drop Thursday into Friday is the concern, making sure animals have adequate shelter and windbreaks. Extra feed helps them generate body heat. Water sources can freeze when temperatures crash this fast. Check them multiple times daily. Power outages are possible, especially in areas that get heavy wet snow followed by strong winds. New England, if that nor'easter develops, you know how this works. Coastal winds can gust 50 to 70 miles per hour. Tree limbs weighted down with snow can come down on power lines. Have flashlights, batteries, candles ready. If you use a generator, test it now. For snow removal, whether you plow or shovel, the back-to-back nature of these storms means you re-clearing twice in 3 days. Don T, try to do everything in one push. Clear what you can, take breaks, hydrate. Heart attacks during snow removal are common, especially in that 55-plus age group. Pace yourself. Don T, underestimate even modest snow amounts in places that rarely see it. Alabama, Mississippi, if you get 2 inches, that's enough to close roads. Bridges and overpasses ice up first. Black ice forms when temperatures drop after precipitation. Just because it's not snowing anymore doesn't mean roads are safe. Historical context helps put this in perspective. This pattern is similar to January 2010. Some of you remember the Snowmageddon winter. Multiple Arctic blasts, storm systems tracking along sharp temperature boundaries. The Mid-Atlantic got buried. Washington, D.C. saw 2 feet of snow. Baltimore had similar amounts. This isn't identical, but it is the same family. January 2014, the polar vortex. That was colder but less active in terms of snow. This looks more like 2010 in that regard. Active storm track combined with Arctic air. Go back further, January 1982. Similar pattern, multiple winter storms over a 2-week period. Nor'easters impacted the East Coast. The South saw rare snow. Temperature departures were significant. The key difference between those years and now is forecasting ability. In 1982, you got maybe a 3-day forecast. Now we can see these patterns developing a week out. We not perfect. That Friday storm track still has uncertainty, but we better than we used to be. For those asking about specific amounts, I can't give you exact numbers yet for every location. The Friday storm has too much track uncertainty, but here's what I can say with confidence. If you in Wisconsin, Michigan, Northern Illinois, Northern Indiana, prepare for significant snow Wednesday, 6 to 12 inches, locally higher. If you in Pennsylvania, Western New York, prepare for the same Wednesday night into Thursday. If you are anywhere from Tennessee north through New England, have winter weather supplies ready for Thursday and Friday. Where exactly the heaviest snow sets up depends on that storm track. We'll know more in 2 days. Looking beyond this week, the pattern likely remains active. The jet stream stays in this configuration through the end of January. That means more opportunities for winter storms, more cold air outbreaks. This isn't just a 1-week event. The National Weather Service will start issuing winter storm watches Sunday afternoon or evening. When those come out for your area, pay attention. They'll have more specific details on timing and amounts. One thing I want to emphasize, this is significant, but it is not the apocalypse. This is winter. This is what January does in the northern United States. Some of you lived through the blizzard of 1978. Some of you remember the winters of the 1960s and 70s. You've seen worse. That said, don't downplay it either. Respect the cold. Respect the snow amounts. Respect the rapid changes. Just because you've handled winter before doesn't mean you should be careless. For those in the South experiencing this whiplash pattern, I understand it's frustrating. 70s 1 week, 20s the next. It is hard on your body. It is hard on plants. It is hard on infrastructure. This is unfortunately becoming more common. Prepare for both extremes. I'll have updates tomorrow and Monday as the models come into better agreement. Sunday's model runs will be critical for that Friday storm track. The European model, the GFS, the Canadian model, they need to converge. Right now, they are showing similar features but different locations. By Monday, we should have much better clarity. For the Wednesday storm, that's locked in. High confidence, the amounts I gave you are solid. 6 to 12 inches across Wisconsin, Michigan, Northern Illinois, 8 to 15 in the heaviest bands, 4 to 8 interior Northeast. For the Friday storm, prepare for winter weather if you're anywhere near the potential track zone. Tennessee through Maine, that's a big area. I know that's not specific, but it's honest. Better to be ready and have it missed than to be caught off guard. Check the National Weather Service website for your specific forecast. Weather.gov. Enter your zip code. They update multiple times daily with local details. One more reminder for areas that rarely see snow. Even small amounts create major problems when you don't have the equipment to handle it. 2 inches in Atlanta or Birmingham causes more disruption than 12 inches in Buffalo or Milwaukee. Plan accordingly. Expect delays, expect closures. I'll be back tomorrow evening with a full update after Sunday's model runs complete. The European model updates at 6 a.m. Eastern. By tomorrow evening, we'll have a much clearer picture of that Friday system. This is real winter weather. It deserves your attention. But don't panic. Prepare sensibly. You've handled weather before. You will handle this too.